Hey friends, did you know that over the Christmas break we started the season of winter? We did! Raise your hand if your favorite season is winter. It's such a fun season, right? We can do so many different things that you can't always do in the other seasons. So since we were obviously on break, so we weren't together to talk about the winter season, I wanted to take time today to talk to you a little bit about the winter season, some things you might not know about it, and different things that you can do in this season. All right, so our story we're reading is called Winter Seasons of the Year, and it's written by Harriet Brundle, and she also drew the pictures, so she is the illustrator as well, author and illustrator. All right, so let's go ahead and start learning a little bit about the winter season. Before I get into the pages, what do you already know about winter? What do you think you already know? Things that might happen in the winter, maybe some things that you've noticed since we changed into the winter season. Good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started and read our story about winter. So this is a story. It's not a made-up story, kind of like some of the other stories that we'll read together. Those stories are called fiction. This story is called nonfiction. You say nonfiction? Yeah, it means that it's not made up and you're reading it so that you can learn something from the book. So we are going to read this book, and it's not going to be about necessarily characters or like things that are happening. You're not going to be following like people that have been made up by the author. We're reading this story to learn about something. And what are we going to learn about? Winter. So this is a different kind of book than what we sometimes read together. All right, so I'll get started. Seasons of the year. There are 4 seasons in a year. The seasons are called spring, summer, fall, and winter. Each season is different. This book will tell you about winter. Winter happens after fall. The winter months are December, January, February, and March. There are less hours of sunshine in the winter than in any other season. This makes the daytime feel shorter. Have you noticed that at dinner time now, it's usually dark by the time we're eating dinner? Did you notice that happening? Yeah, that's because there are less hours of sunshine in the winter. So there's more sun in the morning actually than in the evening, and it gets dark earlier than it would in the warm weather days. But as we get closer to the other seasons like spring and summer, we will notice that it's more light out a little later. The weather is very cold in the winter. Have you guys been feeling that? Yeah, it is wet and windy. And you might notice frost on things. You can see in this picture, you can see frost on those berries. That's something you'll notice in the winter because it gets so cold. There starts to be frost on different things. There could even be frost on your car or mommy and daddy's cars. Sometimes there is snow in the winter. It feels very cold to touch. Be careful not to slip on ice. Do you like to have snowball fights in the snow? I know, that's such a fun thing that happens in the winter, right? And it's very cold, right? That's why we always have our gloves on when we're touching snow. Plants. Some plants die in the winter. The weather is too cold for them to stay alive. So in this picture, you can see this sunflower doesn't have enough sunshine to stay alive, and it's too cold. So you'll see the sunflowers coming to life as it gets warmer, closer to spring and summer. Most trees lose their leaves. We can see their trunks and branches. Have you noticed that? So in the fall, all the leaves fall from the trees. And in the winter, you're left with just the branches, and you can see the trunk and the branches really well because there are no leaves on them anymore. So in the winter, all the leaves are completely off of the trees. Animals. So now we'll learn about the animals in winter. Some animals migrate in the winter. Can you say the word migrate? Migrate. Good. So when an animal is migrating, it means that it's leaving a place where it normally lives. It's leaving when the weather gets cold. It leaves to go to a warmer place because it's too cold for it. So it migrates, which means it leaves the cold place to go to a warmer place. And then when it's warm again, those animals will come back. And so birds are some of those animals that fly to places that are warmer. Other animals hibernate. Can you say hibernate? Hibernate. Good. So other animals hibernate in the winter. They find a safe place and sleep through the cold weather. So when an animal is hibernating, they're not leaving the place where they live normally. They are finding a safe place in the area that they live in. So like this animal he's like nestled in. You might bears are some animals that hibernate. They might go in a cave or find some place really warm so they can stay safe, and they sleep through the whole winter. So that and that's how they survive when the weather gets really, really cold. So those are two words we learned. We learned migrate. And what does migrate mean? What do the animals who migrate do? What are they doing when they migrate? Good. They're leaving a cold place to go to a warm place. And then hibernate, the animals that hibernate, what do? Good. They find a safe and warm place in where they live. So they find a safe place to nestle in and get warm so that they can stay safe in the cold weather. Very good. In the backyard, when there is snow, we can ride sleds outside. Oh, I love riding sleds in the winter. Raise your hand if you'd like to do that too. One of my favorite things to do in the winter. We can make a snowman with our family. It can have a carrot for a nose. Raise your hand if making a snowman is what you love to do in the winter. Yeah. What are some other things that you could do in the winter? Yeah, you might already be doing them. Something else fun to do is go skiing. I don't know if any of you have done that before, but skiing is kind of like sledding, and it's very fun. You can also go ice skating when it's winter time, although with the ice skating rinks, you could choose to do that in the summer too. But that is a special thing that people like to do in the winter time. Yeah, those are all such fun ideas for the winter time. Lots of vegetables are ready to be eaten in winter. Broccoli, carrots, and onions. Which other vegetables do you like to eat in the winter? Great. Very healthy. We can use winter vegetables to make meals, such as soup and stew. Have you been eating more soup and stew in the winter season as it's gotten colder? Ooh, that's great. What do we wear in the winter? When the weather is cold, we need to stay warm. We wear gloves to keep our hands warm. And we also wear a warm coat, a hat, and a scarf. I've got my winter hat on today. Yeah, so it's so important that we are wearing warm things in the winter so that we can stay safe and healthy in the winter times. So wearing some gloves, a hat, and a scarf sometimes, especially if you're going in the snow. In December, Many people celebrate Christmas. It is fun to decorate a Christmas tree. We can go to the woods and collect pine cones and chestnuts. That sounds like a fun thing to do. If you choose to do this in the winter, going to the woods or just looking around your backyard, finding pine cones and chestnuts, make sure you have an adult or have asked an adult before you do that so that you can stay safe. All right, and some places there is cold weather all year round. Can you imagine it be like winter all the time? Would you like that? Or do you like having the summer and the spring and the fall, kind of the changes in the weather? Yeah, if winter's your favorite season, you might like it. You might like it in the North Pole and the South Pole. Those are places on Earth where there is always snow. And you can see the penguins live there. All right, so that was our book about winter. We learned a lot of things about winter. We learned different foods we can eat in the wintertime. We learned things we can do. We learned about animals and the special things that some of them do in the wintertime. We learned so much. So, friends, what you can do now that we've read this story is you can draw. I'm going to give you two options. You could do both or you could pick one. So I thought it'd be fun if you wanted to paint this, what I'm going to have you do. It might be fun to paint or you could draw, whichever one is best for you. But one option for you is to paint or draw something that you learned about winter from our lesson today. So was one thing that you really liked learning about the animals? You could draw or paint that. Did you like learning about the food? Did you like learning what you could do in the winter? Things like that. Did you like learning that the penguins live in winter weather all the time? Maybe. And the other option for you is to paint or draw what your favorite thing to do in the winter is. What's your favorite thing about winter? Is your favorite thing sledding? Is your favorite thing making snowmen? Is your favorite thing eating warm soups or helping make warm soups or stews with your family? Maybe. Or is your favorite thing that Christmas is in the winter season? Maybe. So those are a couple things that you could do. You can, again, paint or draw something that you learned about winter. Thanks. So paint or draw one thing you learned about winter from our story, or one thing that you like. What's your favorite thing about winter? All right. I can't wait to see what you choose to draw or paint about. And I hope that you learned a lot about winter and got you a little excited for the season. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye.